Let's get honest right out of the gate, friends. If you feel stuck as a leader, if you keep revisiting the same issues, the same conversations, the same frustrations with your team over and over and over again, like it's Groundhog Day, you don't have a problem. You're caught in a push pull situation. And most leaders don't even realize it. They don't lead the push pull, they just come out swinging. They grab the nearest thing to solve and fix and swing at bat at the problem. And they pull really hard one way and then they panic. So they push back the other way and they call that leadership. Like, I'm just leading because I'm fighting all these fires. I'm fighting the good fight, Tam. I hear that all the time. In fact, I heard it in a conversation I had with a leader earlier today. This is just what I do, Tam. I just fight the fight because this is how we keep going. It's not how you need to keep going, friend. It's not leadership. It's reaction dressed up as decisiveness in a moment of chaos. So welcome back to the Leadership Sandbox. I am Tammy J. Bond, and today we're talking about the push-pull trap that quietly wrecks trust in your team, wrecks consistency, and attacks your credibility as a leader. This episode might sting a little bit, so buckle up, Buttercup. We got some good work to do because this is where growth lives, in the sandbox. Let's get to it. All right, so here is the most important truth I can tell you. Most leadership models won't tell you this truth. Some leadership challenges, friends, are not meant to be solved. They're meant to be held. And that tension that you feel, that in between the results and the relationships, the accountability and the empathy, the speed and the quality, the authority and the collaboration, the decision making and the deflection even, that's not confusion. That's actually leadership, because the push pull is the moment where leaders try often to escape the discomfort by choosing a side, by picking a side. And the second that you do that, you create the next problem. If you solve only one side of the push pull, the other side becomes louder, pushes stronger, pulls harder. It's kind of a pendulum problem, to put it simplistically. Most leaders don't manage tension well. They just swing at it and they hope. And you've heard me say it before, hope is not a strategy in leadership. They hope that they're going to get it done. They hope that the team's going to come through. They hope that people are going to figure it out. They hope and they hope and they push harder and they push harder. We need results. We need accountability. Where's the responsibility? Enough talking. Let's get going. No more questions. Start taking action. And that's where your people might burn out, flame out, morale drops and dips, and trust erodes. So the leader swings harder and harder. And then when things aren't going the way with the swing, right, that push, now they pull, right? They pull back. Okay, maybe I'm pushing too hard, so I'm going to pull back. Let's slow down. Let's be more empathetic. Let's understand each other. Let's come into the circle and sing Kumbaya for a minute. I've seen that. Maybe not that song, but you get the gist, leaders. Let's check in with everyone, which I firmly believe in, except I believe that the ongoing cadence of checking in consistently is important, not just in the push-pull factor. Because guess what happens next? Standards start to slide, deadlines shift or drift. High performers get annoyed because you're not actually handling the problem. And instead of seeing the patterns that are around us, leaders will say, my team is the problem. They just don't listen. They just, it all relies on me. It all comes back to me. I'm the one that has to set the standard. Nope. Not if you've put your behavior operating system in place of this is who we are. This is how we show up. And this is what we want to be known, seen, understood, and celebrated for. The issue isn't your team. It's how you're handling those push-pull moments as the leader of the team. So here's the hard truth. Your default under pressure reveals your leadership maturity. when you're tired, when stakes are high, when conflict shows up? Do you default to control, to people pleasing, to micromanaging, to speed, to avoidance? Do you default to, I'm just going to take it all over and do it myself because I can't trust anybody to do it? That's not your personality. That's not because that's how you're wired. That's not because that's how you learned or you were raised. That's how you've been conditioned. And you got to ask yourself, is that what I want to keep doing? Or is that sustainable? Is that going to scale with me for growth? Is that going to support the team around me? Because your team feels it every time you come out swinging in those moments. So let's make it truly, undeniably, painfully relatable for you. These are push pulls I see and hear about every week. We push for clarity, we pull for autonomy. We push to decide, we pull to include. We push for accountability, pull for trust. Push for structure, pull for flexibility. You're pushing and you're pulling. You're pushing and you're pulling. And we're creating this tension. And I wonder, how do we get into a both and instead of this polarizing, it's either or, it's a push and it's a pull? Because if you're asking which one of those push pulls is right, you're already in trouble. There's not a right one. As someone that I know from back in the day would always say, don't be so right, you're dead right, Tam. Because man, is that really the hill you want to die on? Do you really want to push so hard or take back so much control that you're burning yourself out, you're flaming out yourself, but the team around you is going, hello, I can help with that. Leadership is holding tension without collapsing, and it isn't about choosing sides. So strong leaders don't eliminate tension when it shows up as that tension of the push-pull, that tension in between. You actually want to name it in that moment. You claim it, you name it, you take command over that situation in that moment. And leaders that are healthy and mature say things like, here's the push-pull that we're managing. Name it, right? We're not picking a side. We're holding both. We're making it a both and. If we lean in too far one way, here's what we risk. They take time to assess and evaluate that. Not a lot of time, but in the moment, they get really good at it. Because it's not a weakness to pull back the veil a minute and go, hold on, pause. What's the next best question I'm going to ask myself in this moment of push-pull? Is there a side that we're picking? No, we're going to hold the space for both. That's getting to clarity, and that's strength. Your team doesn't need certainty. They need your clarity and coherence in those moments where the tension is tight, depending on if they're the pushing or they're the pulling. It can happen, and it's up to you to distinguish it, because the real cost of mismanaging in the push-pull moment is about your impact, friend. And when leaders mishandle it, the team stops trusting direction, feedback gets filtered, people wait, they wait it out, or they text you and say, hey, I'm waiting on this because I don't know how to move in it. They don't have the confidence to even navigate that tension because you haven't modeled it for them. And your behaviors become reactive in the workplace when that tension is now so tight and people aren't trusting any decision, and we become reactive. And that's the worst part, maybe. But leaders reinforce that cycle when they say things like, that's just leadership, right? That's just how I lead. We're just going to be in the tension. To work here, you got to be in the tension. You got to be willing to be in the tension. Yeah, for a season, for a moment, for a project, when there's clarity of how we're moving through it. Otherwise, it's just avoidance. It's avoiding naming it. It's avoiding taking care of it. So I want you to sit with these for a few minutes, and I don't want you to, I want you to sit with these questions that I'm going to ask you, because I think this might be really helpful for you. Where am I swinging instead of stabilizing? Which side of push pull do I default to when I'm under pressure? What behavior am I unintentionally rewarding by the way that I lead tension? And where does my team feel whiplash, even if they'd never say it out loud? Because that discomfort right there, wherever you land on those questions, whichever one sticks out to you the most, that's the awareness knocking to say, hello, somebody, knock, knock. Come on. Come on out. Let's play. Let's get out of the push pull. Let's get out of the tension. hiding out from the tension, and let's name it. Let's solve for it. You don't get promoted for avoiding tension. You earn credibility by standing in it and being flexible in it, in the tension. I was, I could tell you so many tension moments where people get really uncomfortable in the sandbox when we're having coaching conversations or in our mastermind groups. They get really uncomfortable because there's that question that gets lobbed into the middle they don't want to answer because they don't want to pick up the mirror and look at the truth and the reality that the problem and the solution is both and it's in them. It's not polarizing and it doesn't need to be a push-pull. They actually are whole, capable, creative, resourceful to get, achieve, attain everything that they need to in that moment. And so do you, because by standing in that tension, you earn that strength and that power, right? It's just like weight training. Apparently, I've been going to the gym a lot. I have been. And you're breaking down muscle. Why? So it can build back up again. You're creating tension, breaking something down so you can build it back up even stronger. That's the push-pull opportunity of the both and thinking in those moments. It doesn't need to be either or. When you can say things like, this is uncomfortable, but we're sticking in it, we're staying with it, or both sides matter, let's hear both of them. I'm responsible for defining what the balance looks like. We're not swinging at this today to solve for it. We're going to sit with it to understand it so we stop repeating it. Those moments of that tension bring the clarity that your people want, and that's the leadership that your people will follow. So here's what I'm hoping for you as a takeaway today. Push-pull is not the problem. Your refusal to lead and to name it is. If you are stuck, if your team feels inconsistent, if the same issues keep resurfacing, stop asking, what should I choose? What do I do? And start asking, how do I hold the tension and make it a both and conversation without breaking trust because I'm bringing clarity in this moment of this tension. Because leadership doesn't live on one side or the other of this tension. It's in the middle. It's in the middle, friend. And if you can't stand there, then you're not leading. So get out of the way and let somebody else step in and lead through the tension and create the space for both and what's possible, creating the behavior shift that we want in the sandbox as leaders. I'm Tammy J. Bond, and this is the Leadership Sandbox. And the next time tension shows up, don't swing at it, lead it. Lead through it. Make it a great day. God bless you.